There are two things plaguing them in the zoo: lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what they were writing. Britain helped them to write it. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you in Aburi. You came back, Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu, so-called Nzogwu, saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael. But what I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. Ojukwu went to Aburi and agreed, restructuring. That's something now you're asking for. To tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward, restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1960-1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent. Wales, the same thing. Everybody is free. But Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy, I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated devolution, regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On their way to the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree, after having signed the agreement. That same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did he say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for restructuring right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. If not now, that after many years of hammering on this very topic, it has now sunk into the skull of the people that Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is, always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it, and we are here today. Those they gave birth to, they have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine. And Biafra must come. It must come. All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani. We are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Do you see them anymore? They're saying we are Hausa Fulani. We are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, I will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. I saw Joseph Okado did that Lok Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope of them prove to us that you are stood. Give us land in Olo. Hope of them will give them land in Olo. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer a misery. But see, they come down to the south. They tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obioso was talking rubbish. He was talking, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never, ever be objective in their reportage. Never, ever, ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you are from Europe. Don't join them. It's our turn in 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president in 2023. Ask yourself, all of them that have been president from time immemorial, what benefit has it brought to you as a human being? Absolutely nothing. So you have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. You look at them now, how they have now descended on Yoruba people, asking them to concede, give us your forest, we must graze, we must do this, we must do that. And slowly before your eyes, they are giving in, they are capitulating, they are allowing them to go, if you don't give it to us, so Tinubu will not be president in 2023. Tinubu won't be the president. That's what I'm saying to you. And foolishly you will agree and hand over your land to them. And once they take your land over from you, look at Hausa. Because there is a saying where we come from. If you want to know what your life is going to become in the future, look at Hausa people. If you want to understand, appreciate, I will say, the life that you are about to bequeath to your children and grandchildren, look at Hausa people. Is there any Hausa governor today? Is there any Hausa emir? Is there land though? Katsina is Hausa land. Kanu is Hausa land. Sokoto is Hausa land. The Hausa people own it, indigenous to those areas. I'm asking you this question. Is there any Hausa man who's an emir in the north? The answer is no. Something's going to happen to you. If you don't rise up now to break, I'm not even asking people to break this, you demand for what rightfully belongs to you, your freedom. The freedom to decide. The freedom to write a constitution if you prefer. The freedom to live with whoever you want to live with. That is what we're asking for. But most people misunderstood what we are saying. And today, almost everything we have said about the zoo has come to pass. Everything we have told you, everything I told you has come to pass, hasn't it? Everything. And some people are still questioning and arguing. They said, Fulani will resist by all means necessary, including armed resistance, any attempt to forcefully eject them from the forest. Yoruba, you must ask yourself this question. When we were pursuing them from Ebonyi, why didn't they say something about ESN on Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Because they know we are prepared to die to defend our land. They understand that very well. That is the only language the Fulani understand. You cannot say to Fulani, oh, let us have a Fulani president, and after that all will be well. Never, ever, ever. They will continue to expand. They will continue to identify idiots in your midst, traitors, saboteurs in your midst. They will promise them heaven and earth. They will give them anything they ask for in order to ensure that they get into you, they subjugate you. Look at Yoruba land, Ilorin. Yoruba, how did you lose Ilorin? You lost Ilorin because somebody thought or felt that by aligning himself with what he felt was the superior Fulani force, he can defeat his own people. Afonja, what happened? As a result of that miscalculation, the great Yoruba race lost Ilorin to Fulani Caliphate. That is why in Ilorin you have an emir of Ilorin, not an Oba of Ilorin, answerable to Sokoto. That is where Lai Muhammad comes from. You can see them. Sokoto slaves in Yoruba land. When I say that it's not religion, it has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with the mentality of a conquered people. Now they have left Ilorin, having taken Ilorin and taken it to Sokoto. They now want to come into Oyo. They want to come into Ondo. Once they take over all those places, it's over for the Yoruba race. Over for you. No, never again will anybody rise a man of honor or integrity in Yoruba land. Never ever. It will only be their stooge. Look at what's happening in the East. Only Fulani stooges can now emerge in the East. It took them very many years, nearly 50 years, to accomplish this very simple task of making sure that everybody, be it Ohanese, be it Pandef, be it governor, anybody you're bringing out must come to the north to swear allegiance to the caliphate. All of them, bar none. Is there any political godfather in the East? There is none. They all go to the north to go and swear allegiance to the Janjaweed. That is why our life is in a mess. That is why they can put someone like Obiozo and make him the Ohanese President General. In front of our eyes, in front of Koro. And what did they bribe? They gave money to BBC, they gave money to all Zoo newspapers. They started to trumpet Obiozo, Apex Group, Apex. You saw them holding their meeting under a canopy. A ton without shame. A whole Ohanese. Under sand, ton canopy. Maybe you saw it disgraceful and shameful. Talking rubbish. The man looks like a Janjaweed anyway. Talking nonsense. These are people they have prepared for you to sell you down the drain. By the time the Fulanis are done with you, believe you me, if you don't rise up now to fight for your freedom, by the time Fulanis are done with you, you'll be more useless than a Hausa peasant doing Babi Allah somewhere in Zaria. That is the future that awaits you. Now, our people must understand this very clearly, especially my Yoruba brothers and sisters. It is about time you stop supporting evil. That evil is in Asorok. That evil is a gang of reprobates calling themselves presidency. The more you keep on supporting evil in the zoo, the more your land will be taken from you. The more your daughters will be raped and abducted, the more your sons will be slaughtered in cold blood. And under one Nigeria, there is nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are watching from. And I welcome you to today's special exposition where we are going to know whether the justice system is what is going to work in the court case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. While you are joining this program, I want you to share this video invite every Biafrans to join. We are not on Twitter. We are not on Twitter. We are going to post this message to Twitter. We are going to tag every, necessary organization that we're supposed to tag in order for them to hear our cry. Of course, let me start it this way. I am not going to take more than an hour in this program because this is a complaint. This is a news that I just received. And I believe that this news, I received it from a very reliable source about the plans of the cabals in Aso Rock, about the plans of the presidency in Aso Rock. That is the reason why I am here. And if you watch in front of my screen, you will see the information that I receive. I am going to translate this information. I'm going to copy it and paste it where you are going to also be reading with me this information. And in this information, it contains the plans of this presidency over the court case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. But before we go there, I want to reflect back over a few months ago, where this Ohaneze and all these people who were saying they are going to meet Mr. President over the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And they went and they met with the president, and the president issued a statement saying that he does not, if there is one thing he does not interfere with in Nigeria, it is the judiciary. It is the judiciary that he does not interfere with in Nigeria. But today we are going to find out whether the Mr. President of Nigeria or whoever it is in Aso Rock, the presidency, is actually interfering with judiciary or not. Or is he playing a political joker on IPOB and the international community? Because I believe and I know fully well that the reason for this, before we go to this information, the reason for this, for this statement issued by Mr. Buhari or whoever he is in Aso Rock, calling on the international allies to label IPOB, to stop IPOB. I will tell you the reason, because that reason is what is right in front of your screen. You will not be able to see it until I translate it. I translate it to another software where you will be able to see it better. Now, let me bring this to you before we proceed. Because in our own ways, we always try to bring and use whatever you said against you. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. I am going to first of all reflect on what Buhari did few days ago, what he said few days ago, calling on the international community. Now, let us read this one before we go to the information I receive, the intel I receive, coming out from the presidency in Aso Rock. Buhari asks US, UK order to ban IPOB. Why? Now, let's read the news. President Mohamed Buhari has asked the nation's Western allies to proscribe the indigenous people of Biafra as a terrorist organization. He made the remarks in an interview with Bloomberg. The president was responding to a question about his administration's record on fighting insecurity and corruption. According to Buhari, the country is safer than he met in 2015, and proscribing IPOB, a group seeking secession of part of southern Nigeria, will improve the situation. That is the statement of Buhari. We leave Nigeria in a far better place than we found it. The president said corruption is less hidden for Nigeria, is less hidden for Nigeria feel empowered to report it without fear while money is returned. Terrorists no longer hold any territory in Nigeria and their leaders are deceased. And vast infrastructure development set the country on course for sustainable and equitable growth. In 2015, Boko Haram held territory the size of Belgium within the borders of Nigeria. Today, they are close to extinct as a military force. The leader of ISWAP was eliminated by Nigeria Air Force airstrikes in March. The jet acquired from the U.S. intelligence shared by British were not provided to previous administration and stand as a testament to renew trust rebuild between Nigeria and our traditional Western allies. Under my government, we urge those same international partners to take additional steps costing them nothing by proscribing the group IPOB as a terrorist organization. Their leadership enjoys safer haven in the West, broadcasting hate speech into Nigeria from London, spending millions lobbying members of the US Congress, and freeing using international financial network to arm agitators on the ground. This must stop, according to the president. My administration is the only in Nigeria history to implement a solution to decades-long header farmers conflict, exacerbating by the desertification and the demographic growth. The National Livestock Transformation Plan, putting ranching at its core, is the only way to deplete the competition for resources at the core of the clashes. Governors from some individual states have sought to play politics where ranches have been established, but where there have been disputes, have dramatically reduced, according to Mr. President. And this is where I am going to leave this path for now. According to Mr. President, this is what he did, calling on the international community to proscribe the IPOB a few days ago. And now I am going to tell you the reason. He even mentioned that IPOB was blowing up pipelines and causing mayhem. Now, another question that you need to be asking yourselves: why is it that every time there is a week to the court case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, breaking news will sum up and the Nigeria government will blame it on IPOB, and Nigeria government will say it is IPOB? They blew up a pipeline just to stop the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And I am going to read the information for you. While after this analysis, they blew up a pipeline just to label it on IPOB, for him to call the international community to label IPOB a terrorist. Oh, the last court case of our leader, when it was approaching, they killed mercilessly two military couple, with a lot of things behind it in order to label it on IPOB. And another thing they did, the last court case of our leader, which was supposed to hold last month, it was postponed. Reason for the postponement of that, court sitting, because they want to see what primaries will look like. Now the primary elections, it has taken place. Now there is three candidates from 3 regions that we know in Nigeria. These three candidates that is out there say have it because the presidency and its cabals in Asorok, they have seen what is going on. They have seen how people are actually, promoting P2B from the east, west, and some part of the north, promoting P2B. And the presidency, they have come to a conclusion that if they release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that this he will enable P2B to win election. Now I want to advise this presidency and the Nigeria cabals that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not a politician. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not a politician. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is a freedom fighter and has no interest on whatsoever is called politics in Nigeria. Therefore, you cannot use Mazen Nnamdi Kanu as a political joker. Now, let me share the news that I have at my disposal. I am going to copy the words into a word where I will be able to view it. The news is actually on, it is actually on my notepad. It is actually on my notepad, which I will not be able to read it properly if I leave it on the notepad. So I want to bring it together. This is the information that I received, just few hours ago. I am going to bring it to you so that you will know whatever you see that is happening on the 28th of June in the court sitting of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You should be aware that I informed you about it because they are playing a political game with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And I can categorically assure you right now that the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, the bail application has been received by the court of Nigeria, and they have no reason to deny Mazen Nnamdi Kanu a bail because after their investigation, they found out that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, but rather he was running away for his safety and for his life. That was what happened in 2017. Now let us go to that news. Let me bring it to another software where we will be able to read it and we read it together. Just 1 minute. Let me copy this and place it where I will be able to increase the characters and pull it together a little bit closer to each other because it is actually everywhere in what I have here. Now, let us read this news. Let us read it. I want you to see here. Our leaders release come 28 June. Now, read with me. There is a conspiracy by Cabal to use Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, for a political joker. Buhari is the one holding our leader, not the court. Buhari is the one holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and not the court. It is not the court holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, but it is Buhari that is holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And we are going to continue reading. Nigeria has no judiciary because the government dictates. Because the government dictates what happens in the court. The body language of Mr. President is not showing that our leader should be released on the 28th June. International community have asked Buhari to release our leader, but he refused because of his political joker. Now, let me make it more clear to you. I will make it more clear to you here before we proceed. Now, the reason why Buhari came few days ago to call on international community, or maybe Western ally, if I may place it the way he quoted it, that he is calling on the international Western allies to stop IPOB and label them a terrorist, just because the international community, they have investigated, they found that IPOB and Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have no case to answer, and Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. Rather, he ran away for his life in order for him not to be killed. There is a saying that says it is only a tree that found out that it is going to be cut off and it remains rooted where it is. That is the reason. That was the reason why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu ran for his life when there was a military exercise that was sent to his house in Afaruku Ibeku by Nigeria government to exterminate him. And they believe by exterminating of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, extermination of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, rather, we stop the agitation and we allow these Fulani crusaders to come into Nigeria and Biafra land and take over everything. That was the reason why they sent those military to go and exterminate him. But as God may have it, he escaped that attack. But today, now they are playing a political joker because the international community has investigated. They have investigated and found out that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu did not commit any crime known to law. And now they call on Buhari and the presidency to release Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. But he is refusing because. Now let us read further. You can see his recent submission to the Western world that are pressuring him to release our leader. The Western world that are pressuring him to release our leader because he has failed to make IPOB look like criminal organization. That's why he introduced the idea of telling the world that it's IPOB, that telling the world that IPOB is responsible for vandalization of pipelines. He is trying to make the world to believe that because Nigeria, these cabals, they are ready to go to any length in order to try every possible means of incriminating IPOB. But what they did not know is that we move faster than them and we are formidable and we will expose them before they take their next step. And that is exactly what I am doing here. If you are indeed IPOB and you are in support of what we are doing at Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, you should share this video and tag every organization that stands for democracy and the human rights for them to understand what is going on. And I want to categorically assure you that international community is on our side and they know that we have not committed any crime known to international law or known to local law in Nigeria, but because of the faulty foundation of Nigeria justice system, Buhari is using Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's case as a political joker. Now let us continue reading. That statement is just a sentiment because Western world is benefiting from Nigeria oil. He thought if he bring IPOB into vandalization, the world will proscribe IPOB. International community is aware that IPOB has no business with oil or vandalization of pipelines. Buhari is still holding our leader simply because of 2023 election. So IPOB should not be hopeful of any magic come 28th of June. From the intel available to us from Aso Rock, The judge have seen that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is innocent of all the charges against him and had wanted to give Nnamdi Kanu bail in the last court sitting, but he was threatened, or she was threatened by the cabals in presidency. The morning of the court sitting, that was why she did not come to court that day. What is still holding our leader in the court when the Federal High Court in Umuahia have stated that our leader did not jump bail, that means our leader is still on bail. Then what is he still doing in the DSS dungeon? The presidency is afraid that if our leader comes out, that he will help P2B, who is already winning the election, to win. Funny enough, they don't know our leader. He is not interested in who becomes the president or not. His only interest in Biafra, his only interest is in Biafra, is in Biafra restoration. Our leader is not interested in Nigeria politics. If you like, vote. If you don't like, don't vote. He is not interested. Even if P2B wins, our leader will continue with his agitation for Biafra until Biafra comes. Buhari should follow the path of honor and release our leader and call for referendum, because if he fails to do that, Biafrans will not stop agitation until Biafra comes. We are prepared to wait as long as he wants. All we know is that Biafra or death. Let's keep praying for our leader, because he is coming out someday, but I see no hope on 28, because Buhari is still holding him for what he called his last joker. For what he called his last joker. That is the end of the information that we receive, that Buhari is using Mazen Nnamdi Kanu for his political joker. The court has finalized the case and the bail application and the hearing, and Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was supposed to be released on the last supposedly court sitting, but it was postponed because even the judge is being threatened by these cabals in the presidency, because they believe that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is going to turn into politics. And that is the reason why we need to start making it categorically clear to all this, political or politicians or presidency in Aso Rock, that we are not into politics. We are not into politics. What we are into is agitation for restoration of Biafra, nothing else. It does not matter who wins Nigeria election or who loses. What we know and what we are up for is for the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and the day of referendum. And the international community is aware of everything that is taking place and happening in Nigeria, and they have called on president to release him. And they know that it is not the justice system or judiciary that is holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu anymore. They know that it is Buhari that is holding Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And that is the reason why they called on him to release him. That is the same reason why he responded by calling on them back to stop the agitation by prescription of IPOB, and pushing a propaganda that IPOB, they are destroying or vandalizing pipelines, because when the joker they played there, the reason why they involved the pipeline, it is nothing but because the pipeline is something that the Western world, part of the Western world, they are benefiting from Nigeria. He believed when their hoodlums destroy the pipelines, he will pose it on IPOB Because this Fulani-led government is ready to do anything and everything in order to stop this agitation, in order to stop the release of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Now, let me remind the cabals in Aso Rock, let me remind Nigeria that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not the Fulani herdsmen killing people. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not the Boko Haram exterminating people, displacing people from their homes and taking over communities. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not the ISWAP that is killing people all over the place. The Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and Biafrans, we are not the crusaders that are trying to colonize Nigeria and all the territory in that region. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is only asking for what is his right and the right of every human that dwells around the world. You have right to choose whom you are going to associate with. That is called a freedom of association. You have right to choose whom you are going to live with. Freedom of association. You have right to complain. Freedom of speech. You have right to agitate. Freedom of speech. You have right to say that you cease to be in a country where you found yourself. You have right to to say that you are no longer part of the country where you dwell. Or you have right to say you are no longer a citizen of a country of your birth. You have that right. And that right is what we are discharging. We did not commit any crime. We have not committed any crime. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that has been in DSS dungeon in the past 12 months, has not committed any crime. None to any law. Rather, Nigeria and its cabals, Nigeria and its presidency has committed a lot of crime against the indigenous people. We are disciplined. We have a peaceful movement. We are not calling for any violence of whatsoever, but we stand to defend ourselves because we have right to freedom of speech. Freedom of self-defense. A self-defense is not a crime in any law across the world. If there is a 200 and something countries that make up of this world, self-defense is not a crime in any of these countries. Why is it going to be a crime in Nigeria? Why should we be sitting back and watching these Fulani crusaders coming into our land, destroying our land, destroying our farmland, destroying our means of livelihood, and you expect us to fold our arms and watch them? Because some of these people we call our political leaders and elite, they are benefiting from the predicament of a common man on the ground. We say no to that. And that is the reason why we will continue to agitate until Biafra comes. Because we have no hope in Nigeria. In the past 60 years, we have been marginalized, we have been killed, we have been, displaced. We are running away from the system and the initiative of late Lugard, which he implemented in the year 1914 by bringing different set of people, different belief system, different way of thought, different cultures, different norms and value system. They brought us together and called us one Nigeria. And today we are realizing that this ideology of a late Lugard, of a dead man, is not working. And we have tried for the past 60 years to see if we are going to find a way to navigate through it, but it never worked. Rather, it made us to run away from our countries, made us to run away from every part of the countries, and we run overseas. And it does not even, affect these people who call themselves our leaders, because for all they care, they want us to keep running until the country is empty for them and their family to dwell and inherit everything that belongs to everybody in that region. And that is the reason why we can no longer take that. Our unborn generation cannot continue in this faulty foundation that we found ourselves, that made us to keep running from that system. That system is a faulty foundation. Any man, any woman, any child who believes in that system is a person who is trying to build on a sandy soil. Remember, a foundation of every structure determines what that structure will look like. The foundation of that structure you see in Nigeria is a faulty foundation, and therefore we can no longer, bear the burden, because our next generation is growing up, and we cannot watch them to keep running helter-skelter, to go out there in overseas doing menial jobs and being treated as less than animal. Because our people across the world, our people are in more than 200, if there is 228 countries of the world or less, our people is in all these countries. They are scattered across all these countries. Why? And they keep telling us that Nigeria will be good. If you believe Nigeria will be good. In the last 6 decades, we've been hearing that. And we've been hearing that education is the key. Education is the key. For those of you who will pass through this education, at the end of the day, where you're supposed to attend a class for 5 years, you might find yourself attending a class for 8 years because of strike and strike and strike. At the end of that, you believe that this awoken generation will bear that and continue to live blindly with this set of people who call themselves the Nigeria Cabals, who are a neo-colonial tool to oppress their own people. Because what Nigeria is practicing, prior to the time I was born, I began to walk, I began to talk, I began to digest and, be able to, comprehend what is going on around me. It is only injustice. Nigeria happened to me when I was barely 17 years old. This issue of I follow and I no follow. A crime was committed just because I was within that vicinity. Police came and they picked everybody up, including a 15-year-old child. We were in a holding cell with a 15-year-old child as well. In a holding cell with criminals. If you don't want to be in a dark cell when you did not commit any crime, you have to pay the sum of 1,000 naira for them to put you in a cell where there is light, where you will find a mat, this tiny mat to sleep on. That is exactly what was going on in Nigeria, and we can no longer bear that anymore. We can no longer bear that anymore. This generation is a walking generation. We pass through all these, injustices. We pass through all these, all these inhuman, activities. We pass through them. We run away from them. And we can no longer continue to be running. So many of us, we cannot go home. Just the way you see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. He was not even home. They wanted to kill him at home. He ran for his life. They went to Kenya, and with the help of Kenya government, they extraordinary renditioned him to Nigeria. And today, he's been in a holding cell for the past 12 months, and the justice system is being manipulated by the presidency. Which country on earth is it happening? Which country does such thing happen? And that is the reason why we are calling on the international community. We are calling on the international community. We are calling on the Western world that still understand the right of people and the right of every human to come for our aid, because there is nothing that is going to stop this agitation. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, when he was the beginning of this agitation, he called for restructuring. He called for restructuring. That was the reason why he got, arrested in 2015. Because Nigeria does not want to do anything in the benefit of anybody, in the benefit of common people on the ground. Nigeria only want to, to place us in a predicament where we've been prior to 1960, prior to 1967, prior to 1970. We are in that predicament. We are still there, and we are crying. We are crying. Does that mean that nobody is there to hear our cry? More than 5 million women and children was killed in 1967 to 1970. No one was held accountable for a war crime committed on our people. No, absolutely no one was held accountable. And today, we are still being killed. We are still being killed. We are still being marginalized. We are still being imprisoned for committing no crime, for exercising our human right. Of course, you saw what happened in 2020 in Lekki Toll Gate. That is what you people, the whole world, you saw. The one you are not seeing is actually more evil than the one you saw in Lekki Toll Gate. Of course, you saw their media person coming out to say that what you saw in Lekki Toll Gate was a propaganda. So that is exactly what has been happening to us. And that is our story. And this is our story. We will continue to remind the world. We will continue to tell our story until we are free. All we are asking for, nothing less, nothing more, is referendum for everybody to decide where they want to be. Just like our leader will say, and I will quote him verbatim, that he is not against a unification of Africa. He is not against a Pan-African movement, because before Pan-African movement will be powerful, Biafra must be restored, because we will join that movement. We are going to make sure that Africa is united, that Africa is great again, because this continent of Africa is a land that Chukwokika Biama, Elohim, the one you call God, blessed and gave it every resources that can help man to thrive. But because of the politics that is being played on us, because of the politics that our leaders are allowing themselves to be used to play against her own people, Africa growth is on a limbo. And that is the reason why I am calling on any generation of Africa to rise up, because it is time for us to be free. We can no longer allow these few individuals to make a decisions of what is happening, of what will happen to us and our generation. From generation to generation, we will continue to receive the same treatment from these people. We can no longer bear that. We are human and our lives matters. And that is what we are saying. I want you to watch what is going on, what is going to happen on the 28th of June. Come the court proceedings of our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. I want you to watch what is going to happen. If Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is released on 28th, then disregard this information that I am giving you. But if it's not released, you must regard this information and know that we do not push propaganda. I am calling on international community. You will verify the authenticity of this information that I am passing out today, that I am sharing on the public domain. Come 28th, come the 28th of June, 2022. The judge has no say because according to their report, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is still on bail. They are not even granting him a bail. He is still on bail. According to the report, according to all the evidence gathered against Nigeria. And Nigeria could not produce any evidence that is going to incriminate Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That is the reason why they are playing their last joker by busting pipelines, blaming it on IPOB. But this generation, we cannot allow that. There is a saying that says, we will continue to fight until police arrives. We are not giving up. If they believe that that whatever they do is going to kill our spirit, is going to kill our souls, no, it is not going to destroy us. Rather, what cannot kill us will only make us strong. That is what this generation believe, and that is the modus operandi of this generation. What cannot kill us will always make us strong. I saw so many people castigating and undermining the power of the spirit that is leading IPOB. People in the likes of Ijele. I am here to advise you, Ijele. You are dancing a dance of a spirit. You are dancing Surugede. And you will understand this. You will understand this language that you are dancing Surugede. You are dancing a dance of the spirit. And the ones that are on, and that is what you are doing. Rising up against your people. It is not going to help you. If you sell your people to Fulani, it will never make Fulani to trust you. It will never make Fulani to call you their own. It makes them to be very, very vigilant around you. I am advising you to retrace your step while you can. Retrace your step while you can. You are supposed to be also on this mission. What took you away from Nigeria and you traveled to Turkey or wherever you found yourself, where you were before you started working for the caliphate? What took you away from that same place where you are at now, sabotaging our movement, sabotaging the activities of those who have, sacrificed everything to give you and your unborn generation freedom? It was not because you have it on a platter of gold in that place where you call your country. You never had it on a platter of gold before you run away from that place. You never had it easy before you run away from that place. Rather, it was the same thing that chased me away from that same place, that chased you away. It was the same thing that chased millions of Biafrans away from that same place, the same thing that chased you away from the same place. I want you to retract your step. I want you to retract your step. Ujele or Udene, whichever you call yourself, retract your step while you can. You can never win this battle that you are, this war that you are waging against thy people. You can never win it. And I know because I told you that if you go to the podium or if you go to the court of law of Nigeria to give a false testimony against IPOB and Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that you are going to commit a perjury. You are going to commit a perjury. That is the reason why whenever it is coming closer to the court sitting of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, you will go and make yourself available in this Fulani medias, and you will be talking rubbish against thy people. How long shall they kill our prophet while we stand aside and look? That's what I am going to tell you. Orufulebe jimbazwenye oribia. Onamuyamu. Omaro that na the same fate comes to him. What we are doing, it is not a child's play. There is a saying that says that the head of Abarawa is not good for child play. You are dancing Surugede. You are dancing the dance of the spirit. and the spirit that is, that is leading this movement, the spirit that is empowering us to continue to fight until we restore the dignity of mankind in that place, in that region of sub-Saharan. It is going to locate you. That spirit is going to locate you, and everybody that is in support of what you are doing, and everybody that is in support of all these injustices that is being meted on our people, all of you, the spirit of Biafra, it is going to bring a rain in your lives. It is going to bring a rain in your life. Mark today's date and mark my word. And I am going to leave it here. Nigeria will happen to all of you who are involved in our predicament. Nigeria is going to happen to all of you. And when that happens, you will remember my word. And all of you who have turned back and forgotten the man who is ready to die to restore your dignity, and you are there advocating for presidency 2023, which you are not sure of your faith, you are not sure of what is going to happen there, Nigeria will happen to you. Sooner or later, Nigeria will happen to you. And I'm calling on all IPOBs, all Biafrans around the world to remain resolute, to remain formidable. We keep praying for there must be a confusion in that cabals in Asorok. There must be a confusion there for something to happen. It takes only your prayers. It takes only your hard work to achieve that, not sentiment. It is your prayers and your hard work that it will take to achieve that. I am going to leave it here. Great Biafrans all over the world, we must remain resolute. Just like our leader will always say, we must remain formidable, steadfast in prayer. Don't be disheartened. Don't lose hope, because God is the man, is the person, is the supreme that will give you hope when all hope is lost. He is the one that is going to give you hope. We are getting a call, even though we did not want to have a call, but I will take this call, maybe only this one, before we call it a day. The caller on the line, your name and where you're calling from, please.
You're online? Are you online?
Yes, I'm online. Yes. No, no, I'm already online. I'm almost done. I thought you were calling for the program. Okay, go on, go on.
My name is American Hater. Go ahead.
Hello, are you there?
Yeah, should I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Marian Hader. I believe your audience know me by now. I'm calling from Maryland. I was just listening to you. I thought it was late. What I would have loved you to add to the broadcast you made now, brilliant, is calling on our people, especially our riders, to kind of broad stress and add to the propagation of what you have just done. Somebody like, I think we have a rider, Elochukwu Osborne, and some of them, because I saw one of them put up a write-up yesterday, but I would love if they can go in depth. What I mean by that is catalog the recent train, the bombing of the train, the killing of Deborah, the church massacre in Owo, the kidnap of the prelate, because we have to counter this narrative this man called himself Buhari put up. We cannot just take it. I know that's what you're trying to do. You did a phenomenal job. We need what I will call evidence to present it to the international community. We cannot just say it. We have to bring our facts. So all these recent events that happened in Nigeria continue to happen, the recent ones, because in his statement, he's claiming that he has quashed the insurgency. He has quashed Boko Haram. He has done this, though he hasn't. Okay? And then because he's trying to justify, trying to rouse the international community for them to tag IPOB terrorists, which it doesn't really work that way. But we cannot let it lie low. Then we must, because if I come, that's what I would have done. We must to invoke Asarib Dokubo, the role he has been playing in that side of the part of the country, because I know that the international community may know, but we need to give them clarity. This section where this oil is coming, who has control? Asarib Dokubo has control. That the Delta militants are the ones carrying the pipeline, has nothing to do with IPOB. We must make our argument clean and clear. That's what I'm trying to establish here. Even the argument, the statement somebody like Tinubu made last month when he thought that he was going to be subverted by this cabal, he came out on social media and made a statement that the person in Asu Rock, that was an accusation he made, that person in Asu Rock is somebody from Sudan they paid, and that if they don't allow him to have his way, he was going to expose that the leader of Boko Haram is still in Asu Rock. We must make this argument. So that's why I'm invoking people like you that have outlets, platform, our writers to compile this in a powerful way, disseminate it through Twitter, tag all the embassies, let them see the hard evidence. I know they may have it, but we need to make our own counter argument. That's what I was calling for. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much for that input. God bless you. So I don't know if we got the what our sister was trying to say. Because we need to start a campaign, and that campaign will be where all the incidents and activities, terrorists, their activities that is still going on in Nigeria. We need to compile them. We need to bring them back. The national community will also, we know that they are aware of everything going on, but we need to keep reminding them. We're having another call. We're having another caller. Let me take that. Let us take this call. The caller on the line, your name and where you are calling from, please.
Greetings, good morning.
Greetings.
This is Lion from Nigeria.
Go ahead, please.
My name is Lion from Nigeria.
Go ahead.
First,
Lion.
I want to tell you that we appreciate your exposition today, and the Biafrans all over the world listen to you. We are not hopeful for any gift from Buhari. We will get our freedom. We are not begging for freedom. The release of our leader is not our priority. Our priority is Biafra. Let it be known to them that they can play politics. They can keep their joker. Our leader is not worried, is not asking them for anything rather than the Biafra. Let them go ahead and do their politics. At the end, Biafra must come. We are not surrendering. We are not afraid of them. Only truth can break them down. That's what I want to add. I appreciate you. I appreciate your program all the time. And I will always stand by you and listen to you every time because you are making sense. It's not like those people who are making money, who are playing with our struggle. People like the autopilots and the co. They are not making sense to me. This is only place where I listen to the reality of this struggle. Like the exposition you have just done today, not many people will do it. So I appreciate you, Judge Money. Lion greeting you all the way from Biafra land.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you. So, and we are calling on our IPOB media writers, media warriors. We need to start pushing up a campaign. We need to start compiling all these things that the man in Aso Rock has, made a claim on, saying that they have, they have stopped the insecurity, that it is only IPOB that is left. So we need to start reminding them Ondo massacre. We need to start reminding them the train attack. We need to start reminding them of all these atrocious things, mayhem that is going on across that contraption called Nigeria. We need to start bringing it back. We need to start compiling it and be exposing it, especially on Twitter. Believe you me, even on Facebook, whoever you say at, you tag them, they will receive that message that you are sending direct to them, their page. They will see it as a notification in their page. So it is very, very important. Whichever messages we are sending to the world, we must make it clear and we must tag the organization, the country, the world, the leaders that we are sending those messages to. Our voice must be heard. Our voice must be heard. That is the only way we are going to thrive. But with the help of Chukwu Kabiama, I am not biased. I am not tired. I am not giving up. And likewise, I know that all the formidable Biafrans, you are doing the same and you believe in this cause. It is a righteous cause. It is not, it is not evil. It is a just cause. And we are going to fight until we'll achieve it. Thank you, Biafrans, for watching this program. If you are watching on Twitter, on YouTube at Judge Money Blog Africa, kindly like the video for the algorithm to continue to share the video. If you are watching from Judge Money Official, make sure you follow the page and click the notification buttons in order to receive those notifications each time we come online. Until we meet again, stay safe and stay informed. Bye for now.
All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we won't have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people? They're saying we are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, I will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. I saw Joseph Okado did that law, Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope of them prove to us that you are stood. Give us land in Olo. Hope of them will give them land in Olo. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer a misery. But see, they come down to the south. They tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obi was talking rubbish. Was talking, was it yesterday or 2 days ago. Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never, ever be objective in their reportage. Never, ever, ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you are from Europe. Don't join them. It's our turn in 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president in 2023. Ask yourself, all of them that have been president from time immemorial, what benefit has it brought to you as a human being? Absolutely nothing. So you have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. You look at them now, how they have now descended on Yoruba people, asking them to concede, give us your forest, we must graze, we must do this, we must do that. And slowly before your eyes, they are giving in, they are capitulating, they are allowing them to go, oh, if you don't give it to us, so Tinubu will not be president in 2023. Tinubu won't be the president. That's what I'm saying to you. And foolishly you will agree and hand over your land to them. And once they take your land over from you, look at Hausa. Because there is a saying where we come from. If you want to know what your life is going to become in the future, look at Hausa people. If you want to understand, appreciate, I will say, the life that you are about to bequeath to your children and grandchildren, look at Hausa people. Is there any Hausa governor today? Is there any Hausa emir? Is there land though? Katsina is Hausa land. Kanu is Hausa land. Sokoto is Hausa land. The Hausa people own it, indigenous to those areas. I'm asking you this question. Is there any Hausa man who's an emir in the north? The answer is no. Something is going to happen to you. If you don't rise up now to break, I'm not even asking people to break this, you demand for what rightfully belongs to you, your freedom. The freedom to decide. The freedom to write a constitution if you prefer. The freedom to live with whoever you want to live with. That is what we're asking for. But most people misunderstood what we are saying. And today, almost everything we have said about the zoo has come to pass. Everything we have told you, everything I told you has come to pass, hasn't it? Everything. And some people are still questioning and arguing. They said, Fulani will resist by all means necessary, including armed resistance, any attempt to forcefully eject them from the forest. Yoruba, you must ask yourself this question. When we were pursuing them from Ebonyi, why didn't they say something about ESN on Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Because they know we are prepared to die to defend our land. They understand that very well. That is the only language the Fulani understand. You cannot say to Fulani, oh, let us have a Fulani president, and after that all will be well. Never, ever, ever. They will continue to expand. They will continue to identify idiots in your midst, traitors, saboteurs in your midst. They will promise them heaven and earth. They will give them anything they ask for in order to ensure that they get into you, they subjugate you. Look at Yoruba land, Ilorin. Yoruba, how did you lose Ilorin? You lost Ilorin because somebody thought or felt that by aligning himself with what he felt was a superior Fulani force, he can defeat his own people. Afonja, what happened? As a result of that miscalculation, the great Yoruba race lost Ilorin to Fulani Caliphate. That is why in Ilorin you have an emir of Ilorin, not an Oba of Ilorin, answerable to Sokoto. That is where Lai Muhammad comes from. You can see them. Sokoto slaves in Yoruba land. When I say that, it's not religion. It has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with the mentality of a conquered people. Now they have left the Ilorin, having taken Ilorin and taken it to Sokoto. They now want to come into Oyo. They want to come into Ondo. Once they take over all those places, it's over for the Yoruba race. Over for you. No, never again will anybody rise a man of honor or integrity in Yoruba land. Never ever. It will only be their stooge. Look at what's happening in the East. Only Fulani stooges can now emerge in the East. It took them very many years, nearly 50 years, to accomplish this very simple task of making sure that everybody, be it Ohanese, be it Pandef, be it governor, anybody you're bringing out must come to the north to swear allegiance to the caliphate. All of them, bar none. Is there any political godfather in the East? There is none. They all go to the north to go and swear allegiance to the Janjaweed. That is why our life is in a mess. That is why they can do something like Obiozo and make him the Ohanese President General. In front of our eyes, in front of Korokoro. And what did they bribe? They gave money to BBC. They gave money to all Zoo newspapers. They started to trumpet Obiozo, Apex Group, Apex. You saw them holding their meeting under a canopy. A ton without shame. A whole Ohanese. Under sand, ton canopy. Maybe you saw it disgraceful and shameful. Talking rubbish. The man looks like a Janjaweed anyway. Talking nonsense. These are people they have prepared for you to sell you down the drain. By the time the Fulanis are done with you, believe you me, if you don't rise up now to fight for your freedom, by the time Fulanis are done with you, you'll be more useless than a Hausa peasant doing Babi Allah somewhere in Zaria. That is the future that awaits you. Now, our people must understand this very clearly, especially my Yoruba brothers and sisters. It is about time you stop supporting evil. That evil is in Asarok. That evil is a gang of reprobates calling themselves presidency. The more you keep on supporting evil in the zoo, the more your land will be taken from you. The more your daughters will be raped and abducted, the more your sons will be slaughtered in cold blood. And under one Nigeria, there is nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing.